Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit when my parents asked because they wouldn't pay me? My parents have me, 16M, and my younger siblings, 12F, 10M and 7F. My younger siblings get an allowance for the chores they do, which is 1 chore each, and for that they get $20 a week. While I never got an allowance for doing my chores, and I have 5 chores. Making 4 beds every morning, keeping the kid living room tidy, doing laundry twice a week, cooking for the family once a week, and cleaning my siblings' lunchboxes after school. I always had multiple chores. This list has been the same for 5 years. Before that, the only difference was cooking, since I didn't cook 1 night a week. But laundry was added when I was like 7 or 8. My siblings' chores are: carry dishes to whoever washes up, 7F, start the robo vacuum, 10M, and make sure the fridge always has bottled water, 12F. I asked my parents why my siblings get paid, but I don't even know I do more. They told me it was the responsibility of being the oldest and they shouldn't need to pay me to be a good brother and son. Then they hated when I got a job because some of my chores were done at different times than they used to be. I told them I wanted money, and since they decided I wasn't worth paying like my siblings were, I got a real job instead. To be clear, I still do my chores. But instead of the lunchboxes being done right after school on Friday, it happens after work. The kid living room is messier longer because I'll be at work while my siblings are making a mess. My parents want to go on an overnight date night and they asked me to babysit. I asked them what they were paying and they said nothing, it would be another chore. I told them I won't babysit then and I'll only babysit if I get paid. They told me they can't afford to pay me, and I replied that I was tired of being screwed over by them while they pay my younger siblings. They told me I was being a brat and they can make me babysit. I reminded them that they get what they pay for. Am I the asshole? So in theory, when you leave home at 18 for college or whatever, 12F is going to be shocked that she is suddenly the oldest and has all the responsibility. You are actually fortunate that you are learning real-life skills, and you will be prepared for adulthood much more than your siblings. But not the asshole for being resentful for the way you are treated differently. Not the asshole. They have the money for the overnight date but not childcare. Your siblings are old enough to take on more responsibility, like making their own bed, cleaning up after themselves, etc. The division of chores and allowance is unfair. Your parents are taking advantage of you. I wouldn't have a problem babysitting 3 kids those ages if they were well behaved. But I can see how you feel they are treating you unfairly, and that makes you not want to help. We do favors for people we like. These are the kind of decisions parents make, that make their children cut ties with them. Not the asshole. Tell them you didn't ask to be or want the responsibility of being the oldest sibling. You had no say in their family planning. If they can't afford a sitter, they can't afford a date night. Older siblings aren't ready-made free ones. You were absolutely 100% correct in your response. Also, why is 10 male's job just starting the Roomba when 7 female is carrying plates and 12 female is restocking the fridge? That seems unequal too. He literally just pushes a button. Your siblings are going to revolt when you leave for uni or just move out, and all the extra chores will need to be split between them. Not the asshole. Your parents are ridiculous. Did they have you so you could parent the other children? They are not your responsibility, and it's crappy parenting giving them an allowance and not you. How about no allowances, then they can pay for a real babysitter? Sounds like that evening is a good night to sleep over at a friend's house, just in case. Not the asshole. This is bullshit. Not the asshole. You are being emotionally and financially abused by your parents. Refuse to do any chores unless you are paid. Set the hourly rate at whatever your job pays, as that's what your time is worth. This may cause you some difficulty in the short term, but you are old enough to establish boundaries and insist on them being honored. Am I the asshole for losing my composure at a family gathering? I ended up calling my brother out in front of our family at a recent gathering. My 40 male bag, basically a fanny pack, was sitting on a table at the entrance of where we were. The bag contains my keys, phone, kids' meds, etc. I watched my brother, 30 male, pick up my bag and take it into another room. I soon made my way to where he was and asked him to hand it over, stating I observed him pick it up and walk away with it. With a smile on his face, he suggested I go tattle on him, stating, "No one will believe you, I always win, go ahead, see what happens," while claiming he doesn't have it. I made my way to the room where his wife was, stating what had happened and asked for her help. She went and talked to him, returning to tell me he didn't have it and for me to leave him alone. He sticks his head around the corner and smirks, mouthing, "Told ya so." I gathered my partner and our kid and said we needed to leave. I didn't swear or name call, but I was not calm, cool or collected in my haste. This isn't the first time something like this has happened, being on the receiving end of his nonsense. I was reprimanded by a handful of people for being over the top, and that my behavior was concerning. Eventually he disclosed where he hid my bag, we then left immediately. I am usually happy-go-lucky, I have the disposition of a ska band. I will never understand blaming a victim for reacting with big emotions to something they shouldn't have endured in the first place. If this isn't the appropriate perspective and there is a better position to take, I would like to understand why and what I could do differently when involved with these situations. Edit, update. Would I be the asshole if I sent this thread to my family? OMG, I used to have an uncle who pulled this kind of shit. People observing would say his victims were overreacting, but there's only so many crap experiences you can fit into your emotional jar before the lid blows. Your brother's a dick, not the asshole. Not the asshole. That a 30-year-old behaves like that and gets away with it leaves me incredulous. There must have been some serious enabling and condoning there from the get-go. I also read why you couldn't tell him to get his hands off your bag there and then. Him doing it during a kid opening presents at their party compounds his selfish, immature age behavior. As does the bag having your kid's meds in it. I will never understand blaming a victim for reacting with big emotions to something they shouldn't have endured in the first place. That's because it's unreasonable. I know this word gets over and wrongly used on here, but this is also gaslighting you, emo. Not the asshole. He's deliberately provoking you, and being shielded by everyone else, at your expense. There are tons of ways to escalate things, and I wouldn't blame you if you did any of those, including taking and hiding his stuff. But you just want to be left in peace. So my suggestion is treat those family gatherings as being enemy territory. Don't leave valuables out, and limit your time there, particularly if he's present. Perhaps skip a few gatherings altogether. He behaves like a 5-year-old. Treat him like that. Ah, did you do it again? Now be a good boy and give it back. I'll give you a treat. If he says he does not have it, tell others that you have lost something and perhaps they could help you to find it. Ignore him at that stage. If you cannot avoid him totally, do not give him attention, because that is what he wants most. He wants to see you annoyed. If he tries, just nod, smile shortly and turn to others for small talk. Do not answer his messages otherwise than just, I see. Not the asshole. And your family is full of awe for treating you like that. Get a small water pistol and keep it in your pocket. When he does something bad, fill the water pistol and squirt him in the face saying something like, no. Bad brother. Bring the item back now. When he protests, squirt him again. Treat him a bit like people suggested misbehaving cats should be treated 20 years ago. When others suggest ops being difficult or rude, just laugh and look confused and tell them you're training him to be a respectful human because he's apparently not understanding how to be one normally. Next time you have to be in a social gathering with him, come prepared. You know he's going to take your bag. Put all your valuables in your significant other purse, bag and bobby trap yours, glitter, slime, something that stinks to high heaven when opened. The possibilities are endless. If he gets upset, tell him to stop snoping in, stealing your bag. Not the asshole he is. Am I the asshole for telling my best friend that I am pregnant? I, 33 female, have been in a very close friendship with N, 31 female, for about 8 years. We have been through a lot of things together, and for the last year and a half I've been on her side for her infertility journey. She has been through 2 inseminations and 2 rounds of IVF, all to no avail. She has PCOS and she doesn't ovulate naturally. We started with our partners at around the same time, and in the past I told her that I would start trying for a baby at the end of last summer. I asked her if I got pregnant, if she wanted to know, and she said that I could tell her. A couple of months ago her second round of IVF failed and she was obviously devastated. She told me that she didn't want to talk about pregnancies when we met, and we didn't. In that time I knew I was pregnant, but didn't say. 2 weeks later she called me and told me doctors had found a possible cause of why IVF wasn't working, and she was under a treatment and would try again in a month. I was very excited for her. And we set a date to meet in around 10 days. As she was the one to start talking about the topic again, I decided I would tell her I am pregnant, cause I was already 10 weeks and was going to announce it soon publicly, and I'd rather she knew by me. So when we met, we talked about her a little, and then I told her. Her reaction was cold and she just said, "Oh, congratulations, then." And then she said, "That was fast, huh?" I was kinda taken aback but gave her grace because of her situation. I just had expected she could be happy for me, but it was okay, so I gave her time and space and didn't talk for a month. A month later, I asked about an exam she had at work, and she answered with a 4-minute long audio telling me she was offended that I had told her about my pregnancy when she specifically asked not to talk about that topic. And that she didn't want to know from me or see me again for a while. I was really taken aback and told her she was the first one to talk about the topic again and thought she was optimistic with the new treatment so she would be happy for me. And I was hurt about her deciding when or how we can be friends. This was a month ago and we haven't spoken since then. I think about her sometimes and worry about her, but on the other hand I am hurt that she doesn't want to be my side or my babies, and if she does come back, I don't know if that'd be a healthy friendship. So, am I the asshole? Edit. Info. We didn't meet to talk about her new treatment. The meetup was set beforehand because we were in summer holidays and couldn't meet before. When we meet we usually talk about everything and anything. At that time she was not in an IVF treatment. The new discoveries were that they found an infection in her uterus that may be causing her embryos not sticking, and she was treating that. No hormones, just antibiotic, and she was responding well and would go another round of IVF soon, with a lot more chances. It was a major change in the game, but she was impatient. How I told her. We were talking about life in general, first about her, not the uterus or anything, just updates in her life. She asked, how about you, what's new? And I said I had to tell you something, and she said, you're pregnant. Obviously she might have remembered I told her I would have already started by then, and I said, yes. Then she said, that was fast, and only talked about my pregnancy when she asked some questions. After that we changed the topic and she talked about her advances with antibiotics, and she told me she was considering surrogacy, and as always, I listened to her and was there for her. I never again talked about my pregnancy, nor did I send her any picture of my ultrasounds, and gave her space. And she didn't communicate, she preferred I announced via text. She doesn't know about Reddit, as we are Spanish and it's not common here, and she doesn't understand English. We always talk about big things in person and in private, so that's why I did it like that, and how we had discussed it. I hope I answered some of your questions. If not, I could edit again, I guess. Also, thank you significant other much for your insights and for sharing your personal experiences. I am so sorry for the ones who went through a loss. I cannot physically reply to every comment, but I am trying to read all of them. I didn't expect so many replies, but I see how this is a sensitive topic. Thanks to all. Not the asshole. Your friend's situation is unfortunate, but that doesn't mean you have to put your life on hold. You respected her wishes to the best of your ability, and when she brought the subject of pregnancy up herself, that would naturally open the door for you to be allowed to talk about it. I'm not saying your friend sucks by any means, as she is dealing with a crappy situation, but to take out her frustration on you isn't okay. I hope she comes around and you two can reconnect. Best of luck with your new family. Sometimes life takes us down different paths. You and your friend have now gone down a different path. Hers is infertility, yours a new family starting. It's sad, but you have to be thankful for the friendship you had and move on to pastures new. Sometimes, friends are not meant to go the distance with you. Take care of yourself and your little one. Not the asshole, but the one thing I've learned having gone through IVF and frequenting IVF is that sharing by text message can help lessen the blow and not pressure an immediate response. Something for a next time, or for anyone else lurking here, since the question gets asked a lot over there and there's an overwhelming response of, please share by text. Not the asshole. That said, try to be patient with her. I've known people going through struggles like hers and it basically breaks them mentally. It is quite possible that down the road she will realize that you were in an impossible situation and that she treated you badly. You're not the you were honest and had every right to share your news, especially since she opened the door first. Not the asshole, but I wonder how you said it. Did you say, I know you said you didn't want to talk about pregnancy, but I wanted you to hear this from me before it becomes public knowledge? Sometimes how you say it softens the blow, you know. Am I the asshole if I change my wedding RSVP after having a +1 rescinded? I have a friend from college that is getting married in 2.5 weeks. I got the invitation for the wedding a week ago, and the invite had a QR code which brought you to their wedding website on the knot. The wedding is on a Friday, is very last minute, and I will have to take time off of work to attend. I am friends with the bride from college, and we have one mutual friend who is also invited. The mutual friend that we share, however, is unable to attend the wedding, so I will not know anyone at the event aside from the bride. When I went to RSVP on the knot, it gave me the option to add a +1. I have never seen this option before without having a +1 invited, so I assumed I was allowed a +1. I am not in a long-term relationship, but because I won't know anyone at the wedding I asked my friend to attend with me, and added her to my RSVP. A few days later I got a text from the bride saying that I don't have a +1 and shouldn't have added my friend and that I cannot bring her. She said she still wants me to attend and that I can make friends with the other guests at the wedding even though I don't know anyone. I'm guessing bride and groom gave me the +1 by mistake, but she didn't say so or apologize for the confusion, just told me that I shouldn't have added anyone. I am very socially anxious and am now very nervous about attending the wedding on my own. I get very uncomfortable in situations where I don't know anyone, and now I don't really want to use my PTO to attend a last-minute wedding where I'm not going to know anyone. Am I the asshole if I change my RSVP to no since I won't know anyone at the event? I feel trapped because I did technically say I was free when I RSVP'd yes, but it was contingent on being able to bring a guest to keep me company. You can absolutely change your mind. Frankly, the lateness of the invite heavily implies that you are a seat filler for others who either cancelled or said no. It's likely, however, that your relationship with your friend will never fully recover considering you were not a first choice. I doubt this will have much impact on your life going forward. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The RSVP is more crucial for the reception rather than the ceremony. Your singular yes puts you in the headcount for food, alcohol, favors, etc. in addition to a seat for the ceremony. Would you consider attending just the ceremony and skipping the reception as a compromise? You'd see your friend's big moment, but not have to deal with 4 hours of chit-chat and wedding rituals with strangers. If so, you can communicate that to the bride so she can correctly adjust the headcount. You were owed an explanation or apology for the mistaken +1 option. Single friends deserve better in these situations. Respond with, I don't know why you'd give me the option to add a +1 just to complain when I used it. It must have been a mistake of some kind. Anyway, all the confusion aside, since I RSVP'd, something has come up and I'm not able to make it at all. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll be thinking about you. Change your RSVP, don't bother giving an excuse. You were invited 2.5 weeks before the wedding, which means you were a B or C level guest, who only got an invite because not enough A levels decided to attend. If they ask, just say your friend was your transportation. Not the asshole. No. You're fine. Just be sure to change your RSVP to no before the due date. If she asks you about it, just answer that you're really socially anxious. Then don't engage with any more questions. You have a perfectly legitimate reason to say no. The rest is gravy. Not the asshole. This is a schmozzle, and a last-minute one at that. Decline, send best wishes, and be glad that you are out of this.